Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lorcanarama, episode 15. We made it to 15, the big 1-5. Hey, Sabrina, how's it going? I'm all right. What'd you do this weekend? uh, okay. I'm glad you asked. No, I was at PPG Pro Play Summit, Texas, and had a wonderful time there. I take back all the bad things I said about Texas, about not wanting to go and then going. It was not hot, which was great. The event was hot. No, it was not. It felt nice there. Yeah, it was surprisingly nice. So, but before we talk about the event, I just want to take a moment here. While we were having fun at the event in Texas, a lot of folks know there's the flooding that happened in Central Texas. Just a tragic thing. A lot of folks lost their lives suddenly, and that's no easy thing for families to deal with. And so I just want to say personally, I have been praying for those folks, even though I don't know any of them personally. I would like to encourage folks out there, if you're the praying type, please keep those folks in your prayers as they look for lost loved ones and as they deal with the aftermath of having lost someone. So sad thing that happened while we were down there, and so I just wanted to acknowledge that. So the event was, I thought, very well run by PPG events. Just to segue into that, I know I'm biased because I was working with them, but it felt like a mini DLC to me. It did have that atmosphere. So that was pretty cool. And I have some pictures that I want to show. But first, what I'd like to do is, I know folks did not come to hear me talk because we have a special guest tonight. They might have come to hear Sabrina talk. But anyways, tonight, our special guest is none other than Jourdon. Jourdon, how do you say your last name? Serio? Serio. Yeah. And Jourdon won the 10K event on Friday, the first day of the event, and you finished in the top 8, or was it top 4 on day 2? Top 8. I swear I thought you won in the top 8. No, that's what it was. They cut to top 16. I knew you won the first round in there, but they cut to top 16, not top 8. That's what threw me off. So, oh, there we go. Here we go. I didn't have sound on for a second there. I don't think. Let me repeat that again, everybody. Jourdon made top 8 on day 2. So hopefully everybody can hear us now. Welcome, Jourdon. I want to go through some slides real quick, just show some pictures of the event, and feel free, both of you, to comment as you go through them. Some of them, Jourdon, you'll probably recognize. Sabrina, you'll probably recognize some of them, some of the folks in them. So anyways, let me see what we got here. So this is what it looked like. This is the Lorcana side of the house. And if anybody out there in chat has anything they want to throw in, if you were there, feel free to drop a message in chat. And if you can't hear us, let me know. But anyway, so yeah, this was the first part of the event. The mayor of Dallas. That's
so my friends are calling me.
Okay, yeah, they're giving you love, man, in the chat. So Dan Arnold of TFM hosted the event, did a great job with that, with the stream, I thought. Of course, Stephen Abbott, our tournament organizer for PPG events. There is the broadcast crew, along with Dan's wife. And more of the broadcast crew who's snuck in there. Aaron from the Illuminators was able to do a couple interviews there on stage. And of course, there's Luke Wonderland. More of the staff, which they did a great job. Yes, they were actually working there. They did not pose for this shot. I caught them in that moment, which was kind of cool.
That's a great candid.
Yeah. More of the staff there. Great staff for PPG events. This one I got, this was a funny one, right? You'll like this one, Sabrina. So you know who this is. Of course, this is Melissa and Ben from TFM. Right. So I was talking with Melissa, and Melissa goes, "Hey, Ben, this is the guy who does the podcast with Sabrina." So That's who I was. so,
You're just the
so
other guy. I'm
that's
sorry.
right. I'm just the other guy,
No.
right? So that was pretty cool. Yeah, there you are, Jordan. This was on day. I took this picture. So I took this picture because my workmate, who you saw in the earlier picture, was like, "What's the name of his team again?" So I had to run up and take a picture of your shirt and then run back and show it to her. The funny thing about taking that picture, I don't know if you were there at that moment. I took a hard spill. I fell flat on my face in front of everybody. I tripped over the tablecloth. It was embarrassing, man. And somebody called me sir. It's like, oh gosh, I'm so old. This was the top 8 on day 1. And of course, more of the top 8 matchup. Jordan playing here. Yeah, Mr. Beefcake, right? That's right. Let me go back there. That's Beefcake in purple for those of you who are watching on the stream.
I thought Tyler was Beefcake.
Yeah, he played like Beefcake all weekend.
Oh, he did. He played tough.
That guy came to play, man. He actually he won day 2. So and top forward. There you go. That's the picture we put out. That was your interview with Dan. I got this picture here we took. So I got to tell you guys something about this picture, right? So when Jordan came up, he asked us to hold his winnings because it was a ton, right? And I was talking to him, and I go, "Oh, what deck did you play?" He goes, "Emerald Amethyst." You had me at Emerald Amethyst, So we're part of the club. Sabrina's Emerald Amethyst. I'm Emerald Amethyst. Part of the club, right? So yeah, great shot there. Even though I'm in it. Day 2 was kind of neat, and I show this picture because on day 2 in the main event, they had bounties out on some of the players, and so if you played one of the bounty players and you won the match, you got 4 additional packs. Used 4 packs for the bounty. David Nunez was one of the bounties, and here was one of the fellows that came up and collected that bounty. Actually beat Mr. Nunez. So they had to come up to where I was to grab the bounty. This fellow won one of the bounties and actually pulled an enchanted right there in front of us. So that was kind of cool.
We take those.
Yeah,
we definitely take those.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Yep. Now, if you were there this weekend, you know that it was all about Labubu, right? So they were giving out Labubus. You win a Labubu. I actually managed to. I got one for my daughter. See, so got a couple of them for her. So that was kind of cool. Yep, win a Labubu. I have to give a shout out to my friend who I came there with. He won a box in the top 8, and so that's the picture that you see there. And I know it's tough for you guys, Jordan and Sabrina, because you probably hear me but see the pictures on delay. My other friend actually played Ben from TFN and beat him, and I told Scott Landis, I go, we're counting the whole weekend a win, success as we pulled off that win. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, and then we go to the top 16. There's Jordan, Rob, some other guys playing, and one of my favorite moments of the event, and I'm going to leave it on this picture for a minute. So Rob and Tyler were the 2 finalists, and Dan let them kind of interview each other on the stream. And I thought that was so cool, that those 2 just were talking away, chit-chatting, and the friendliness that they have with one another was pretty cool. That's the kind of thing that I really like about this community,
I love Rob.
Yeah,
Rob is one of the friendliest people I've ever met.
Yeah, I would agree.
Kicked my teeth in at SCG Philly last year, and I almost wanted to say thank you after because he was so nice. I was like, this feels awful, but I'm not mad.
Yeah, Rob kicked my teeth in too on Saturday. So
yeah, he did. So Jordan's only loss going into the top cut was to Rob. So
Rob and then Tyler on Friday.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so those are my 2 losses the whole weekend.
That's right. Because Tyler took you out twice, right?
Yeah, he took me out on Friday, and then I got him in top 4 on Saturday, and then he got me in top 8 on Sunday.
Yep.
Wow.
So, yep.
The best of 9.
You've seen enough of him.
No more Tyler.
Yeah. Anyways, so those 2, that was I thought that was a great choice again. I thought it brought a neat different angle to just, having the same person interviewing, which there was nothing wrong with Dan and the way they were interviewing or anything like that. But I thought it was neat to let the players just kind of have their moment together, and before they played, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, and then there's Dan interviewing Tyler. Afterwards, Tyler won the 15K event. He was playing Ruby Sapphire items. And
Sure.
big shout out to George and Anna Machado. They run PPG events. It is a mom and pop organization. They made this happen. So on my way out the door, I wasn't out the door. I was on my way collecting my last round of pictures. You can see the final match going on in the background. But I just had to get a quick picture of them just to give them props for a well done event. And then this picture is my last one. I got to say something about this picture. It took me five DLCs before I finally got a picture with Scott Landis. So, we always, I always go and see him. We fist bump, talk, briefly. I let him do his thing. He lets me do my thing. And all of that busyness, I never got a picture of him. And so a picture with him. And so I nailed that picture down. So I appreciate it, Scott. So yeah, there we go. That's our slideshow. It was a great weekend. Jourdon, what were your thoughts about the event since you were there?
Oh, it was I was definitely taken. It was a surprise how good and smooth the event ran. Like how we finished like 7 each day, and like we had time to like go get dinner. It was just very smoothly ran, and like I watched the stream back, and like the stream was ran professionally. Uh, I'll definitely be going to more PPGs. It made me more optimistic for Lorcana after the DLC news last week, for sure.
That's really good to hear, honestly.
Was there DLC news?
Not really, actually.
So okay. We beat that dead horse.
Kelsey, when you pick a still for this episode, can it please be you making that face? Please.
All right. I got to go back and look at it now. So, all right. Yeah.
So funny.
All right. So we kind of beat up the DLC thing the week prior, but I stand by what I said during that episode when Sabrina and I talked about that I really think that we as a community should just pick this up and run with it. Right. Folks like PPG Events, Southside Gaming, Charlie CC Collectibles, anybody, that they could put on those events and run them for Lorcana. And we as a community should embrace them. I just want to be careful. We don't like pit one against the other because somebody got to do the DLCs and somebody didn't, or somebody's events are better than the others. No, it's all Lorcana. We're all the same community of players playing together. And if you get an opportunity to go to one of these events, by all means do so to support the game and the community. Because in the end, like we see each other, right? If we're going to see each other at these different events, we don't care who's running. We just come to play Lorcana, right? So,
yeah.
So anyways, so Jourdon, do you mind, where are you from?
I'm from New Orleans.
Okay.
Like 10 minutes out of New Orleans. Yeah.
Okay. And do you guys big scene there for Lorcana, or is it just small? I know you guys had a team that came there, so it's at least got a scene of 5. So
oh, we actually have a pretty big team. This team Snuggly Ducklings. We have a lot of people on the team right now. We have a big scene. Locals probably about 20 people. We have like 3 different locals. Set champs are bringing about like 30. We have a couple of DLC day tours. I made top 8 of Dallas, and my friend Adam made top 16 in Seattle, actually. So we have a growing community that we're trying to build up.
That's nice. That's nice. So we're not too far from you guys. We are in the Panhandle, Florida, and actually we're talking. I was talking with Jourdon at the event, like, hey, we need to do something for this region to kind of like just bring all of us together for one big event. So stay tuned. That's all I'll say.
Get it together. I'll come down that way.
Yeah, stay tuned. Hey, who wouldn't want to come to the beach and play Lorcana, right? So
I mean, I have a beach. It's just dirty New Jersey water.
Yeah. Okay.
Saying.
All right. I did say that. So that was Sabrina. So yeah. So yeah, we've been
Thank you
talking
for
about that.
clarifying.
Yeah, you can bash your own place, right? I'm not going to bash it. You take care of that yourself. so,
I'm a
anyways,
pro.
yeah. So
ETFM agrees. Kylie's got my back.
Only have bad things about the Jersey Shore.
I mean, it's not like they show on TV, but like the water is not. It is not the Emerald Coast. That is for sure.
no. Well, there aren't many places, to be fair, that are the Emerald Coast. I'm lucky to be here. I'm not, and I'm blessed to be here. Actually, it's just, it's a beautiful place. Yeah, that's all I say. I say, come on down, come on down. When that event fires off, I'm going to need a broadcast team. So, so keep that in mind. But anyways,
Get a little broadcaster.
what's that?
Get a little broadcast team together. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. We already stream. We stream our matches that are there. We do whenever we have events
Oh,
around here. We use.
no guy in the chat.
Yeah, we come down and we'll do that. We'll I kind of steal our stream here and and then use that. But yeah, we'll broadcast our set champs and stuff like that. Just for fun.
EFM says he might know a guy.
Yeah, maybe that's right. Might know a
We'll get a
guy.
little PA, New Jersey, Florida combo action.
That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
I could be in for that.
All right, I'm gonna just.
Louisiana, can't forget Louisiana.
All right, so this weekend, Jourdon, you played Emerald Amethyst, which, as I said earlier, it was a twinkle in my eyes when you said that when I talked to you, right? So why don't you tell us about your deck? I'm going to pull it up on the screen here real quick, and so here's your deck that you played on Friday that you won the 10K with. So tell us about the thought process that went behind choosing Emerald Amethyst first as an archetype, and because even within Emerald Amethyst, right, there's several archetypes, and you chose a specific one, and then why you chose that, and then some of the card choices that you made in there.
All right, so where we start is I'm very much a Emerald Amber player.
Let
I've
me
been
cut you
playing it
off.
for
I'm not going to have
multiple
you back on the
sets.
stream. I'm just kidding.
Cursed.
Go ahead.
And I just love the deck. It's performed really well for me at like multiple formats, the same exact like 60 basically up until like Tramp came out. And so I think it just is a little too slow. Maybe I'm wrong because two were one seeds on both days, so maybe I'm wrong. But um, I thought it was a little too slow. It was a little too predictable. But I did think discard was strong, especially into the red blue matchups. And I did like I liked Amber Emerald into Amber Steel and Red Blue, which I thought were both going to be the most represented decks at the tournament, and I proved to be right. So from there, I had been playing around with like some green purple, and it had very similar matchup spread. It was pretty good into Amber Steel, pretty good into Red Blue. The evasive purple decks with all the Finders Keepers were a little bit of a problem for both decks, but with the green purple deck, like you don't have to be committed to Diablo, so like they can't just brawl it or sit on brawls and stuff like that. You can play genies and just win evasive wars with the Yagos and bells and stuff. So I really like that reason to play green purple. The discard's very strong in the red blue, and just the purple interaction is very good into like heat decks. So um, that's the main thought process. I had a little doubt about the deck actually. A few weeks ago, I played like a little cash tournament, and I just got Diablo, Storm Rage on, uh, play Prince John, and I just lost to Greensteel. Uh, same exact like Exodia hand, like a few turns in a row, few both matches in a row. And so I had a little moment of weakness. I played red blue items for a couple weeks, and then I got Final Platinum. Then I was like, never again. So I went back to green purple, and I've been repping that for the past like week or so.
Okay. And so did you specifically choose this because of the discard factor, that's what you wanted to do, or was it the I'm not going to say the evasive factor more or less, because Emerald Amethyst is kind of known for that as well too. I mean, what's specific about this archetype within Emerald Amethyst was it that drew your attention?
So I'm a Diablo guy. I love Diablo. Diablo's not at its peak right now,
I don't like it.
for sure. There's just like a lot of ways to deal with it. So it's not the Diablo that draws me to it. It's more like the deck has a lot of play to it, and it feels like all the games you put this specific archetype, like the Diablo discard with green purple Diablo discard, you just have a lot of agency in how your games play. Um, it's different than like playing Steel Song, where like you just can just lose to Ruby, Sapphire, no matter what how you play it, you know. Or
Having
like
flashbacks to Vegas.
yeah, or like sometimes red purple just can't beat red blue items. I just don't like decks that like lack agency. And I felt like this deck gave me the most agency, just with like you don't have to rely on Diablo to win games. You don't have to rely on Genie to win games. You don't have to rely on the discard to win games. It's a very flexible deck, and like you can play it in multiple ways. And it's very rewarding when you play the deck and you're like, oh, like they're expecting me to play Diablo, but if I don't shift Diablo and I just pressure them with discard, eventually they discard their Fire the Cannons or they discard their Brawl, and now I shift Diablo, and now it's the game's over because they don't have the Diablo answers and they discarded other cards that they could have used to progress their gameplay. Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of I came upon really liking the deck.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do something that I swear I'd never do. Okay. My daughter is here.
Oh,
So I'm going to let her pop on screen real quick. So I said, yeah, here we go. Hey, say hi.
hey.
Special guest appearance.
That's awesome. It's in the chat.
Again?
My daughter hit it
I,
that time. It's not my fault. I'm notorious for hitting that mic in there. So
We need to
yeah,
get you one of those like covers for it so you can't hit it.
it wasn't my fault that time. I could actually, well, never mind. I'll take the fall for my child. I did it. So anyways, yeah. Yeah, mom came and got her. So, yeah. All right. Yeah. So, I'm an Emerald Amethyst player, as anybody who listens to the stream know, because I'll talk about it till I'm blue in my face. And one of the things that I'm curious about, and I want to ask you about is did you feel that pull the lever and wrong lever did what you wanted it to do when you played it?
oh yeah, those those cards are like the reason I think the deck is like really viable right now.
Okay.
The pull the lever just being gas, like late game, like you're like, okay, well, this is hypnotized and it's like way worse than just uh pull the lever because like when you want it to be discard, it doesn't matter that so much that you don't draw a card like hypnotize, but like the flexibility is like huge. Like the best play in the deck is to shift Diablo, pitch, pull the lever, and then like all your wrong levers are now like the best removal in the game. Um, the wrong
Yeah.
levers are just like so strong of a card to answer like genies or sharks or tamatoas that like they're invaluable. Like it's so crucial to have those in your deck.
My
Um,
opinion of wrong lever is I hate it because it makes my favorite card obsolete, and that's ring the bell. So, yeah, now that it's around, I'm like, well, okay, now I can't play ring the bell as much, but So anyways, yeah. So what I like about it too, and most folks who played this know this, and it took me a bit to get used to it, honestly, is the ability to pull the lever to shift your Diablo, right? To get it into the discard right away. And so, you know, was that something that you utilized or honed in on quite a bit, or did that even matter so much with it, or we lost you, Tyler.
Do we lose him?
Yeah, we lost sound
Right
with Tyler. Yeah, there you are. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your question? Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, the sound kind of went wonky on us there for a second there. Not my fault this time, though. Yeah, I think that was actually
Yeah, I think
actual
it was
tech.
my internet fault.
I think it was a latency issue there. No, my question was so with pull the lever. One of the neat things about it in this particular deck is the ability to put it in the discard pile as part of the shift cost for Diablo, right? To kind of expedite getting it in there. You don't have. I found that when I'm not playing Diablo, it could sometimes be an awkward card to get in my discard early in the game. And because I'd had to break tempo to do it. So my question is, did you often find that to be kind of like, your an action of choice? Did you kind of play into that? Would you mulligan for that? I mean, was that kind of a line that you would aim for at all?
Yeah, for sure. The pull lever like is the best discard food for Diablo, to be honest. Like I will keep a Diablo pull lever in Diablo shift over just about any other action to discard because
Yeah, right.
because of how strong it is with wrong lever. Like I didn't do it much, but I definitely had one game where I went Diablo shift, discard pull lever, and saying friends on the other side, having a wrong lever for like anything that they play on turn 3 or like the turn 4 shark is like very strong. That's something that like is crucial to like recognize that like how strong that interaction is. Like, cause like if you don't discard the shift, then like you kind of have to just play it outright, and like sometimes you don't have the tempo to do that. But this deck, because of the Diablos, like you definitely have a lot of options to discard it and like get it in the graveyard.
I'm guessing that chuckle was you saw the comment in chat. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
somebody said, yeah, that was me. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I have the card up on the screen for those who don't know. Pull the lever is a 3-cost inkable action card. You choose one, draw 2 cards, or each opponent chooses and discards a card. Now it goes with wrong lever, and wrong lever, of course, is the 3-cost inkable action where you choose one. You can return chosen character to their player's hand, or you may put a card named Pull the Lever from your discard on the bottom of your deck to put chosen character on the bottom of their player's deck. And that's pretty awesome because when you put something on the bottom of the deck, that's about as far away as you can get it from somebody for the game.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty nice. And that is finality at its best in Lorcana, other than winning the game.
It's the best removal in the game, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
the 3
Yep.
costs, like kill anything is insane. So even just bouncing characters without having the pull lever in the graveyard, like it's just very good to just bounce characters sometimes to like just get the tempo. I'm pretty sure I bounced Automato at 8, making them have to replay it and like try to get their tempo back. Like they spend their whole turn doing that without having to like develop their own game plan. Like I love that. I can develop my game plan and you have to replay something for eight ink. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Forcing them to become stagnant is such an upside.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That's what I love about this color combination. And one thing too, and I said this, I think, on a stream or last stream or so, I'm not knocking any other archetypes because I love playing all of them for the most part, but this one's my favorite, of course. But I had to sit down and ask myself, why do I like it so much? And like, I'll use Steel Song as an example. For Steel Song, I feel like that the characters on the board really have 2 interactions. They quest or they sing a song. You know, that's just the way I feel about it. I'm not saying that's the case. It's just the way I feel about it. Then some of them have some little specialty things they do, whatever, you know, challenge every now and then. But with this combination, what I have found is whenever I build a deck with these colors, I have to force my characters to have interactions with one another in order to maximize the power and the potential of the deck. And unlike any other color combination, I mean, more so, probably more so, not unlike. There are other color combinations that do it, but for me, it's more so with this one than any other, at least the way I build and play. Did you have an all-star card besides pull the lever and wrong lever this weekend? Well, hold on. You're not allowed to say Diablo. All right. Let's just, okay. Diablo's Diablo. We know what Diablo does, right?
All-Star, I don't know. The Cove was really good this weekend. Cove Chip was really good. Chip's so good. I don't know why people aren't playing him more. He's so good. He's always a 2-for-1. Almost always a 2-for-1. Um, or more. He can be even more than a 2-for-1. Yeah, the Cove and Chip. Chip and Cove definitely overperformed this weekend.
Nice.
Um,
Anything underperforming your deck?
oh yeah, that card. What's the name of it? They Never Come Back.
They
Don't
never
play
come
that card.
back.
That card's awful. Yeah, that card is awful. Don't play that.
All right, let's see. They
I
never
feel
come
like
back.
that card is only I feel like that card is so situational. You need them to have like vanish so that you can
Yeah.
just kill both of them.
So I said I took a break for 2 weeks from playing this deck to play red blue items. And there's another person at my locals on the team that I won't name by name, Jake. And he was playing green purple, and
Excuse you.
he was like, "Oh, this card's so good," and I was like, "I don't know," and then but I was like, I don't like improvise, so maybe I'll try this. And my day to try it was on Friday. And it did nothing. I pitched it to this Diablo once, I inked it once, and then I drew one card with it once. That was it.
I
If I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna go play improvise.
Fair enough.
I've championed this card on the stream here before, but I use last ditch effort. That catches a lot of people off guard. It's uninkable, I know, but for 3, you know, it costs 3, and you can exert chosen character and then give another character challenger +2. And I have taken out so many Iagos with either side of that. You know, and then I've also, what I like about it too is the one thing I can't stand is playing a steel song and having them drop an aerial and drawing a song, and I have to sit there and wait knowing next turn they're going to sing it because I can't do anything about it. Well, last ditch effort will let me exert that aerial and smash into her and get rid of it. So, you know, I really like that card.
It'd be a card to explore for sure.
Your matchups this week. So you know, if anybody who was there this weekend knows that the path to the top cut ran through amber steel. Those top tables were just full of amber steel. The bottom tables were too, in the middle tables. Amber steel was everywhere. And there wasn't as much red blue in the middle of the tournament. It was either, I noticed it was either on the lower tables or the higher tables, right? The folks either knew what they were doing with it or they didn't know what they were doing with it, you know? So, but there were quite a few of them on the top tables as well. So, the matchups that you found this weekend, I asked you which one you felt were the toughest. Now, you said you played well coming into red blue and amber steel when you were testing coming in. So Tyler aside, right? So, you know, with his red blue, what decks did you find were the toughest for you to deal with this weekend?
So the toughest decks in general for this green purple deck are like green purple tempo, like traditional green purple tempo, like Merfolks and Go-Go's and Kits and Genie and then Elsa and then that type of deck. That's just a hard matchup because the layers of defense that they have against Diablo, like you can never get a Diablo out really against that deck unless things have gone wrong for them. Um, and you just are put to the test very often and early, where you have to find answers to all their cards. Eventually, you can stabilize. And I played against the green purple aggro, a really good player, in round 7 of Friday, and he knew what he was doing. Definitely knew what he was doing, and it took me to took me to test because I barely won both games, but I was able to squeak it out by just finding the right removal. That's in my experience the hardest matchup for the deck. Blurple can be as well because of how fast they get out Genie. You get out Genie on turn 4, you're never getting a Diablo shift on the draw against them, a safe Diablo shift. And then they have Elsa, so even if you try to stand your Diablo, they can Elsa it. And they have Finders Keepers, so it's hard to discard them enough. But if they are focused too much on like kind of your Diablos, stopping your Diablos from being active, you can try to discard them out. And then if they try to hold their answers to Diablo, like they run out of gas, and you can try to like triple discard them on a turn to like really surprise them. Those purple and green purple tempo are like the two worst matchups, I think. Uh, this weekend, I actually have my matchup spread. I typed it out. Second, let's see. I played against um 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I played against 8 red blue.
Wow.
And so I won 6, lost 2, and I played against 3 Amber Steel the weekend. I actually missed the Amber Steel. I wish I would have played more. And I went 2-1 against Amber Steel, losing to Rob. And I beat a bunch, 2 purple steels, 3 purple steels, 2 green blues, a red purple, a blurple, and a green purple tempo.
Yeah,
So the deck
Rob was
felt
hot.
really good. Rob's so good.
Yeah, he was.
Rob's so good.
And for those who didn't see what Rob's deck is, I just got to say something about his deck. And in fact, I'll pull up his deck list here. So Rob played Amber Steel, right? But the great thing about his is this, and I'm going to go down here. Look at that. 2 You Have Forgotten Me's. Like, who expects that in Amber Steel, right? So
they came in clutch a couple times too.
Yeah, right. I thought it was an amazing choice, and I talked with somebody about it, and they were like, "Yeah, nobody should ever play Rob's deck because he's such a great player. That's how he was able to pull it off, And for all intents and purposes, he came 1 lore away from winning it all.
Yeah.
He even though the score won't say so, if he'd had 1 more lore, he'd have closed that one out, that match out against Tyler. And Tyler just had a heck of a develop your brain play that saved him. It was a very good match. So not to be ashamed of losing to Rob with this deck at all. So did he make you discard when you lost to him? Did he get you?
He hit me with the You Forgot Me, and I was like, oh.
So
I was answering the board, like we have a game plan, and then him with the You Forgot Me, and I was like, no more game plan. It's really tricky. He knows he's really, really good. Me and Rob actually sit next to each other like every player meeting because our names are so close together, like Serio and Serp.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always been like really nice to me. We've been like very friendly, and like this first time I actually got to play him, and it was very impressive to play against because like I had a one play where I quested with the Purple Diablo 1 and into his Cindy because I was on the play. I quested Diablo 1. I think I played a Diablo. I didn't play a turn 2 drop. He had a Cindy on board. He's like, well, if I attack here, then you're gonna kill this with the Peter Pan. And then he was like, I think I'm okay with that. And I was like, that's scary because I have the Peter Pan. I was gonna kill the Cindy. And if he's okay with it, then like it was cool to hear him vocalize like my plays before I did them. It was impressive.
It's hard to tell, and I don't know that he's like this, but is he just kind of just being nice and talking and chat because that's the type of person he is, or is he playing mind games?
I think it's like, just who he is.
Right. I would agree, but I think it's funny to think that could be possible, right?
Yeah. I mean, like it is scary when I'm like, oh, well, this is my plan, and then like he's like, oh, yeah, I think I'm okay with this, and then I'm like, oh, all right.
They said TFM and chat said
maybe I won't do it.
Rob is one of a kind. That is for sure. One of my favorite
Rob is a
comments
great person.
in the stream on Saturday when Rob was playing, somebody's like, Rob's not in cosplay. And somebody said he's cosplaying as the best player in the tournament.
Yeah. Shoot.
That's great.
I didn't even put
He's
together
really
that
good.
he wasn't in cosplay, and that is
Yeah.
odd for him at a big event like that.
Yeah. Zero mind games make it even more terrifying with him. Yeah, right.
He's actually just that nice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I liked his deck. I talked with him about it because one of my friends was playing Amber Steel and we were doing his deck the night before. We were kind of messing around with it, trying to improve it for day 2. And my first thought was, do you have any You Have Forgotten Me's with you? And, because I was like, let's put that in there. And I was just being silly, not being silly. It was just like, it'd be kind of cool to have that because, the folks just wouldn't expect it. I didn't think it would really matter that much, but then to see Rob play and do that, I was talking to Rob about that, and I was just like, it was such a great call. It was such a great call for his deck, And then the other thing he talked about too that I thought was pretty neat was he talked about, he's running Doc and Aerial and not many and no the Whole New Worlds, which a lot of folks don't do that. They put the Aerial in, they have Whole New Worlds, right? And so he went with the Doc line instead, and I thought that was a pretty savvy choice as well too. But I did see him whiff on Aerial a couple times in the final matches, and
That feels so bad.
Yeah, not having those songs, that's you pay the fiddler sometimes when you play with her, right? So that's the way it worked out. Yep. He kept saying he was TFM Nunez since he only traveled with a backpack. That's funny.
Rob's definitely one of those players that, like, if you try to copy his deck without knowing exactly why he has these cards in the deck and like what the purposes are, like, you could definitely just play yourself out of a tournament.
Yeah.
But like, it's definitely like it's cool. I really really enjoy playing against people like that. And like have like very deep intricacies and like understanding of their decks. It makes it really fun. Like, I feel like on the weekend, I felt like I could win every game that I played, except against Rob. Because it's just like without any experience against that type of Amber Steel, like it makes it really difficult to like, oh, like should I be attacking the board? Should I be focusing on my hand size? Should I be like it makes you approach the game differently, and it's really intelligent to like come up with that idea. Like I'm sure that's kind of part like of the idea, like make people approach how they attack your board differently. Because like if you catch red blue items like trying to go for their classic like turn 5 play workshop into popsicle draw 2, like if when they set that up on turn 4, You Have Forgotten Me, they now have no hand. So you can definitely catch people off guard with that.
Yep. It's such a great move. It's a great move. And I like about it too, right? The fact that you lost to him, I don't like the fact you lost to him, right? But that when I'm playing my friends who have, they run green steel discard, and I'm able to turn the tables on them and make them discard something. I always ask the question. They'll tell you, how does that feel? It's like, does it feel good? I hope not, because that's how I feel when I play against them. So for you playing discard, I just, how does it feel? He flipped the script on you there. So
got me, dude. Like,
yeah,
got me for sure.
So
You forgot me. I won't forget that.
Going back to your deck, so we talked about They Never Come Back being an underperforming card, which I'm sure would go out there. What would you change up in it, if anything, after playing it this weekend?
Well, I changed for Saturday. I played Hypnotize instead of They Never Come Back because of how many red blue I saw at the top tables, and it definitely helped way more. Um, the deck's kind of flexible. Like uh, a lot of the cards in the deck are very flexible slots. Like Belle could easily just be a fourth Elsa, but I like the versatility of Belle being able to like help in like evasive wars while also being like just be able to just chip a daisy or like be able to clear amber steel like pyro characters without much help. So I appreciate like versatile cards. Hidden Cove could also be another Elsa, or it could be another Hypnotic Strength or Hypnotize. Kind of depends on your meta. I didn't see a lot of purple decks, so like I felt comfortable making the call to go Hypnotize instead of a second Hypnotic Strength because there just wasn't a lot of Iagos in the room. If you expected a lot of Iagos, then playing two Hypnotic Strength would be kind of ideal.
I was curious about the decision to only run 3 of the 1-drop Diablo, the green one, just as it seems like that's pretty solidly not a 4-drop, a 4 of in a lot of lists.
Yeah. It's kind of a choice for like a little less consistency for just like attack cards. Like you could cut the Cove and the Bell for a fourth 1-drop Diablo and a fourth 2-drop Diablo. Um but like you don't when I play the deck, I don't focus on getting the Diablo shift because like it's actually a liability against a lot of matchups. Against the purple decks, like it's kind of a liability. Against item decks, it's kind of a liability. Um, so, but I do like the 1-drop Diablo, especially because like you can play like into Crab and it kills Daisy, stuff like that. So like it's important to be able to have uh, um, a lot of Diablos to shift on, but
Right.
like having the 7 1-drops and the 3 2-drops gives you a lot of Diablos to see.
10
And
Diablos
so
is
it
enough
doesn't.
Diablos.
Yeah, 10 Diablos felt like the right number of Diablos for the
That's
weekend.
that's fair.
Did you have any problems, having a 1-drop, uh, you know,
Um,
with just
I
7 in
missed
the
one
deck?
drop a couple times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I missed 1-drops a couple times, but it's not the biggest problem because you're not you're not usually the aggro deck in a lot of matchups. You're kind of a control deck actually. So like um, it is nice to have 1-drops, but like having a 1-drop green Diablo uh, is good against Amber Steel if you compare it with Crab, but it can just be a a blank against Amber Steel if you don't have crabs or
Yeah.
stuff like that to like kind of amplify the value.
Hmm.
Um, I've multiple times this weekend I just inked a green Diablo one and passed without having to play it. Um, 'Cause I think that the deck can win grindy bad matchups without having to really have to find that 1-drop.
Okay. And the Crab, you had 3 copies of Crab in there. Most folks will run 4 copies because some would argue it's probably the best, the best amethyst card. you know. So your thoughts on going to just 3 of those?
So originally I had 1 Peter Pan, 3 crabs, and I kind of like the versatility of having a second Peter Pan because
Hmm.
it's very good against like the discard decks when they or Diablo decks. Um, while also like kind of serving 70% of the role that crab does, but then also giving you this other um function where like you can rush and every character all your evasives become Maui. They all get rushed. So having like just a Peter Pan come in and like you and your Diablo 2 plus a Peter Pan can take out a Daisy. And then if they quest into that, now like they probably quest with a Smee or a Piglet or a lady or something, and then now your Iago comes in, snipes something, your Peter Pan can hit the other thing, and now you clear the board, and now you stabilized. So it's mostly the same role as Crab, but I appreciate like the versatility. Um, it could also be the Hidden Cove and Bell are also like possible Crab spots, but I prefer like having more versatile cards than having more narrow cards, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You won't get any argument out of me. I run a lot of 2 ofs in my deck. So,
Yeah.
with the lack
Actually,
of a sideboard. Go ahead, Sabrina.
when I saw this list, my first thought was, "Wow, that's a lot of 1-ofs." When I first
Yeah.
started playing TCGs with the one that shall not be named, my boyfriend at the time, now fiance, was like, "Here, build a deck. Like, here's a bunch of cards. Just build something." And I wanted to play all 1-ofs because I was like, well, I like this card, but I also like this card and I like that card. And after, as time goes on, I realized like consistency is a huge reason why you don't do that. And now I'm like, give me a list with all four ofs. I want to play 15 cards. I want to play four of each. That's it. So I looked at this and I was like, oh man, that's a lot of one drop, or like a lot of one ofs. But your reasonings make a
But
lot of sense for all of them.
yeah, like it's I think it's kind of like a similar theory to like learn how to play like music, right? Like learn how to play music like most people will learn how to play music in a very structural way. And like after that, after you know how to play like in structure, then you can start branching out and then you get like
Yep.
jazz and like you get kind of funky with your deck list. And eventually you can, if you understand the function of like your what the cards are doing, then it's like, okay, well, I could play 4 Elsa, or I could have a Bell and 3 Elsas, and then the Bell doesn't die to Sisu, and the Bell can challenge into Sisu. The Bell can quest into Sisu, like stuff like that, where that having a Bell came up against Red Blue slamming a Sisu on me, and then okay, well I quest still, and now like I'm still pressuring tempo. Now you have to run your Sisu into my
Right.
Bell, and that eases up the pressure, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the thing I like about this color combination too. It's I've pretty much gone to I use in Magic, I would do 4 others because I'd have a sideboard. In this game you don't,
Yeah.
right? So you're just kind of like, okay, maybe I use this for this. In fact, I run the queen, the purple queen, the 4/3 that you exert her to remove cards from the discard. I run 2 copies of
Okay. Oh
her
yeah.
mainly to get items out of the discard pile so Tamatoa can't bring them back, or to get rid of actions in case I run into Maui Shark, does that. And then heck, it also gains you 3 lore, 4 if you're playing against Blurble because there's a bell there probably, and so little cards like that we gloss over in a deck like this really could perform a valuable function for you if you're not like so honed in on having 4 copies of something in there. And that's not a knock on you if you're doing it. It's just that, it's just that it's like you said, and it was a great analogy, by the way, to use music to drive that point home, man. Good job. So, it was music to my ears, no pun intended. But, so,
Yeah. Like
so
to
yeah.
me, hypnotic strength could easily be like the third wrong lever, but I kind of like the versatility of like, I can pump my 2-drop Diablo and be able to snipe daisies or rhinos or sharks if like they leave them exerted or stuff like that. So like I when I'm building decks, especially like purple decks, I prefer like having a little bit of versatility as long as like you understand where the overlap is and the
Mhm.
cards that you're switching out. I don't have 4 crabs, but I have 3 crabs and 2 Peter Pans. That's pretty good to me.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Peter Pan with the 2-drop Challenger Diablo is such a sick combination.
Oh,
That
it's really
just
good.
that just wrecks people's day. I played it the other
Yeah.
day, I had challenged into something, and he's like, "Okay, my card takes 1," and I was like, "No, your card dies." And he's like,
Mhm.
"What?" I was like, "Yeah, this says Challenger." He's like, "Oh, I was wondering what you were doing."
Yeah.
Yeah, Shadowfinder is really good. I really like it. um, enabling Diablos to come in exerted.
Yeah,
Against Tyler, I was able to he quested with the Tipo 1 game and 2 games, maybe 2 games, and I was able to play Peter Pan, play Diablo, crack the Tipo, and now that my Diablo's exerted and we're drawing cards.
So, out of
Um,
curiosity, when you're altering your hand and you have Peter Pan Shadow Finder in your hand, do you keep it or do you throw it back?
I mean, it depends. Against Amber Steel, I'm keeping it every time. Usually I have some hard um rules about the mulligans in this deck.
Hmm.
Like, I will keep Crab blind against that. Like, I'll keep Crab blind regardless of how good it is against Amber
Hmm.
Steel. But it's hard to keep Shadowfinder because of its uninkability. We run
right.
a lot of uninkable 3-drops. Um, it's just something to keep in mind. Um, no card in this deck is 2 drops are kind of exception. If I see a 2-drop, I usually keep it regardless if it's Ursula or Diablo 2 because of only playing 7. One drops. I'll keep purple one drop Diablo. I won't always keep green one drop Diablo unless I'm playing against red blue, and I know I am. Uh, I don't always keep three drop Diablo either, especially on the draw. Like you don't want you're not very successful in converting the draw Diablos often. Like in my idea, like you convert a Diablo if you can draw two cards off of it, because then you're at a parity for discarding and shifting on it. Because if their removal is one, you draw two cards, and then you play Diablo, shift to Diablo, discard a card. So you go 3 for 3. In my mind, that's how I kind of evaluate it.
Okay. Yeah. It said chat Rush Diablo is so messed up. Yeah. And I still have the mark on my forehead for letting you do it the second time. Do I need to ask?
I was like, I
Well,
have
I
questions, but I don't
remember
think I'm gonna ask.
Tyler did it once. He quested with the Tipo, and then I rushed the Diablo in. He was like, "Oh, that's not happening again." And then we played again, and he was like, "Oh, I told myself I wasn't gonna let that happen again."
But here we go.
That's great. That's great.
You
So,
know my strikes that third.
what are your future plans? See any events coming up that you're honing in on to head to, or?
I got invited to the SSG Invitational, so I'll be at that. Um, I plan to go. I'm making plans to go to Denver as we speak. I've been having my mom has been wanting to go to Denver, and I'm like, oh well, maybe we can make this a family trip then, like so.
That's
Hopefully, go to
awesome.
Denver. Definitely want to go. Definitely going to be in Miami for the SSG Invitational. I'm also going to try to make Charlie's, and it's gonna be a hell of a or it's gonna be a lot of 3 weeks because we're gonna have SSG, CCS. I'm gonna try to make because it's in Atlanta, it's drivable, and then I'm gonna try to make the Denver Pro Play Summit. So
Okay.
hopefully I can make all
That's
3.
only like 2 weeks before Milwaukee, isn't it? Denver?
I think Milwaukee's in October, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like 2 weeks before Bologna. I have them mixed up in my head.
One's
Oh,
cheese,
yeah.
one's bologna, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need both to make a good
So,
sandwich.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
there you go. Yeah. So, yeah,
Or
I
fried
applied.
bologna.
Yeah. What's that?
Fried bologna. I love fried bologna.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now we're talking. That- So yeah, I applied to Denver, so hopefully I'll be there. It really felt nice, honestly, this weekend to, because it had been since nationals that I had been to an event that wasn't local for me, and I wasn't going to do it as I kind of came around on the podcast actually, to be prodded.
We watched the evolution.
Yeah, right. And so, yeah, it was just, I don't know. I guess I was pouting over the DLCs and, not having news and also was holding out in a way too. Cause I was like, when, you have to take off work to go to some of these events sometimes. And it's like, I don't want to take off for one event and then all of a sudden the DLC is the same time or the next week. And I could have gone to that, because for me, DLCs are priority. I think that everybody's priority, right? Because that's the Ravensburger sponsored, giving out the promos, the whole shebang, right? But that was why I was hesitant. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, this is PPG. They ran the DLCs, they know what they're
I
doing.
know a thing or two.
Yeah. And so
Oh, yeah.
it was a great experience, and then after I applied shortly thereafter, it was accepted. Dan got announced as being the host and I was excited for that, and so that was pretty cool, and so it felt like it had that atmosphere for me of being a DLC. Now, some things were missing and there were some things that fell through, and that's PPG's story to tell. What's that?
I was missing.
Yeah, you were missing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I would have made it a DLC.
right. For me anyways, right? Because I've seen you in every one except for one. So, and so with Denver coming up, there are some improvements that they're looking to make, and I'm not speaking for them. I just know them. I know how they are. right? They are constantly, that's the thing I like about them. There's PPG events, they're constantly evolving. They like the feedback. They want to hear from the customer, the players, what they could do different. So I'll throw this out to you, Jordan, as somebody who played, won an event and finished in the top cut on the second big event. Is there anything that you would change about the way the event was done, or anything surprising or anything like that? Or
Um, I don't know. I felt like the event, as someone who topped both events, it felt great. The pricing felt great. The events ran smooth. It's mostly what you can ask for. Like DLCs ran so bad, like they just ran long. There was so much delay, like in the first couple of DLCs, but they definitely got better towards the end. Um, and like uh, there's nothing offhand that I can think of that I was really disappointed in. I was actually very impressed, to be honest. I don't.
Yep.
My expectations were like here, and like they exceeded my expectations. Actually, it was really cool. Like watching the stream back, it reminded me. I don't know how familiar you are with Magic, but it reminded me like the SCG tour. Like it felt like the commentators and Dan were making a very strong effort to kind of create storylines and create uh good interviews and tell a story throughout the process of the event. I'm sure that there's things that they can get better technically and stuff like that, but I felt like the event ran great, to be honest.
Yep. Yep. And Sabrina, watching it, anything stand out to you at all on the stream or?
Two things stood out to me, one about the stream, one about the event. One, watching how quickly those rounds were going by and what time you guys were getting done every day. I was shocked, but like pleasantly, because I know that that's not the experience we had at DLCs last year. There were DLCs that you weren't getting out of there until 10, 11 o'clock.
Atlanta.
Yeah. The stream specifically, I was really hard on the world stream. I didn't think it was up to the level that I had expected. But I will say that I think the stream for this event was very, very well done. Definitely more engaging than I found Worlds to be.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely excited to see more of these events.
Yeah, that was neat. I got to, as I was working, I was scorekeeper, and I got to have the stream on while I was doing it. And I couldn't always listen. I would pop in every now and then. And, and I really enjoyed it. It's the second time I was able to listen to a stream while the event was live. I think I did it at Nationals too. Yeah, it was I felt like I wanted to walk up there and listen to them, which I did a couple times. I walk up there, I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but I'd get pictures and stuff where I got some of the pictures from while they were on stage. So it was pretty neat to have that kind of aspect right there in front of us. Because for the most part, though, during the DLCs, the interviews and stuff were kind of away from people. We couldn't see them, but here, as Dan was interviewing, they were right there on stage in front of you. And so while that's the one thing I would change is when they do those interviews, is that maybe we can hear them away from the stream in the auditorium. And I don't know if that's even possible. But that was the thing that I was like, oh, I'd like to hear what they had to say, in this moment, in between the match or whatever. But at the same time, you can't be distracting. And so I get it. But that was just me wanting to hear it live, right? That was it. So, but otherwise, it's kind of neat. I tell this story to folks sometimes. When I was going to college, I worked at Chick-fil-A, and I worked there for like 5 years. And it was my favorite restaurant when I started working there, and it was my favorite when I quit working there. And that goes to say something about something when you're intimate with it and it's still your favorite. And so having been intimate with this event and the inner workings of it, I still thoroughly enjoy myself. I have no complaints really. It's PPG's good. The community was great. The hosting was great. I thought it was a great touch on it. So I think things went well. Yes, there are room for improvement, but this was kind of like the stepping stone, right? This was the launch, and so it'd be pretty cool. So Jordan, one thing, normally on my stream, we ask the guests to do something. I didn't do it this week. I'm sorry, Sabrina. I've let you down. I know. Now you talk about stills. I need your face now for the still. I I totally just bombed it this week. So yeah, you got away with it. But usually what I do is I pull up a card and blank out the rules text and see if you know what it does. Yeah, I'll get you next time. Don't worry.
We play.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I get you next time. I don't have one prepared. It just, hey, failure on my part, So I'm sorry for
You
my
made me
adoring
play this
fans out there
game
who,
multiple times, and you
yeah,
got a pass.
yeah. So
Eve.
Sabrina will play for you next week. Don't worry. so so yeah. Well, we're kind of going to wrap up. We're kind of at the end of that little block that we give ourselves. One thing I want to do is I want to give a shout out real quick, as I always do, to Mattified for the great work they do with their mats. Their website, mattified.com. If you haven't seen one of their mats, well, hold on. I'll do this for you real quick. I actually got one this weekend. We are going to, I don't know if you can see this well, nice little Elsa mat for Mattified. We on the stream are going to give this away at some point. That's why I got it. So we'll figure it out somehow. So stay tuned. I will be giving that mat away. I don't know how or to whom, but it will happen. Don't let my daughter know. Yeah.
Get socials up. We'll figure out a better.
Ooh, Scott made
Better
it back
method.
on the screen. So any parting shots, Sabrina, before we go?
I got nothing.
Got nothing. How about you, Jordan? Any parting shots?
Shout out to my team, Team Snuggly Duckly. I actually have a little podcast myself with the rest of the team,
Oh,
Tavern
cool.
Talks. We're gonna be talking about the DLC this week. I'm gonna be having a deck tag come out this week. If anyone wants to check out my thoughts on the deck, I think my parting thoughts on this week are gonna be I was glad I ran into you, Kelsey.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to connect. I'm glad I got to come on to here and
Thank you for
talk to you
coming.
guys. Y'all great people. I'm excited for Lorcana again. Last week, I'm gonna be honest, I was pretty ready to quit or like at least take a big step back. But having seen the quality of the event that was thrown this weekend, I am reconsidering and I am actively making plans to play more Lorcana. So uh,
That's great.
this past weekend made me feel like Lorcana has a future, regardless of if Ravensburger is going to take a step back. To be honest.
Well, I'll say this: one half of this podcast team can empathize with your wanting to rage quit. So.
Can't imagine who he's talking about.
Alrighty. Well, I just want to thank everybody in chat who joined us tonight. Stick around. We usually stream on Sunday nights, so we are looking at changing soon to doing a midweek podcast. We'll get back to everybody on that. Just take a look on the Lorcana channels, and we'll post when we're going to do it. Once we get that night settled in, we'll kind of settle in somewhere. But again, thank you. If you haven't done so already, please follow us. We appreciate that. We do have a YouTube channel where I post these videos the day after for anybody who wants to just go back and, just listen to it again because you liked us so much, right? So we appreciate it. And thank you all, and have a great night.
Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, Sabrina.